Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. While performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers Him, His names, and His qualities. Translation with repetition. While performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers Him, His names, and His qualities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. An expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or the next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, etc. The order of the Lord is distinctly there in the Bhagavad Gita. One should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. In every sphere of life, the Lord should be situated as the proprietor. According to the Vedic rites, even in the worship of some demigods like Indra, Brahma, Saraswati, and Ganesha, the system is that in all circumstances, the representation of Vishnu must be there as Yajneshwara, or the controlling power of such sacrifices. It is recommended that a particular demigod be worshipped for a particular purpose, but still the presence of Vishnu is compulsory in order to make the function proper. Actually, the purport is very relevant for all the Grihastha devotees. The second paragraph onwards, you can pay extra attention. Apart from such Vedic duties, even in our ordinary dealings, for example, in our household affairs or in our business or profession, we must consider that the result of all activities must be given over to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord has declared Himself to be the Supreme Enjoyer of everything, the Supreme Proprietor of every planet, and the Supreme Friend of all beings. No one else but Lord Sri Krishna can claim to be the proprietor of everything within His creation. A pure devotee remembers this constantly, and in doing so, he repeats the transcendental name, fame, and qualities of the Lord, which means that he is constantly in touch with the Lord. The Lord is identical with His name, fame, etc. And therefore, to be associated with His name, fame, etc. constantly means actually to associate with the Lord. The major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. Not only should we give the profit of our earning to this cause, but we must also arrange to preach this cult of devotion to others, because that is also one of the orders of the Lord. The Lord definitely says that no one is more dear to Him than one who is always engaged in the preaching work of the Lord's name and fame all over the world. The scientific discoveries of the material world can also be equally engaged in carrying out His order. He wants the message of Bhagavad Gita to be preached amongst His devotees. It may not be so done amongst those who have no credit of austerities, charity, education, etc. Therefore, the attempt must go on to convert unwilling men to become His devotees. Lord Chaitanya has taught a very simple method in this connection. He has taught the lesson for preaching the transcendental message through singing, dancing, and refreshment. As such, 50% of our income may be spent for this purpose. In this fallen age of quarrel and dissension, if only the leading and wealthy persons of society agree to spend 50% of their income in the service of the Lord, as it is taught by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is absolute certainty of converting this hell of pandemonium to the transcendental abode of the Lord. No one will disagree to partake in a function where good singing, dancing, and refreshment are administered. Everyone will attend such a function. Everyone is sure to feel individually the transcendental presence of the Lord. This alone will help the attendants associate with the Lord and thereby purify themselves in spiritual realization. The only condition for successfully executing such spiritual activities is that they must be conducted under the guidance of a pure devotee who is completely free from all mundane desires, fruitive activities, and dry speculations about the nature of the Lord. No one has to discover the nature of the Lord. It is already spoken by the Lord Himself in the Bhagavad Gita especially, and in all other Vedic literatures generally. We have simply to accept them in toto and abide by the orders of the Lord. That will guide us to the path of perfection. One can remain in his own position. No one has to change his position, especially in this age of variegated difficulties. The only condition is that one must give up the habit of dry speculation aimed at becoming one with the Lord. And after giving up such lofty, puffed up vanities, one may very submissively receive the orders of the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam from the lips of a bona fide devotee whose qualification is mentioned above. That will make everything successful without a doubt. Thus ends the wonderful transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Pamagyanatimirandhasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in this section of Bhagavatam, where we are seeing this wonderful conversation between Narad Muni and Vedavyas, the last verse we saw was Yadatra kriyate karma bhagavat paritoshanam jnanam yattad ahetukam jnanam yattad adhinam hi bhakti yoga samanvitam. And it was mentioned that work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord. It's called Bhakti Yoga, or transcendental loving service of the Lord. And what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. The Narad Muni had given this formula that work is done here in this life for the satisfaction of the mission of the Lord is called Bhakti Yoga, or transcendental loving service. And what is called knowledge becomes a concomitant factor. The transcendental knowledge becomes a byproduct. It automatically comes by engaging in work or in activities meant for pleasing the Supreme Lord. And in the last line of that purport of the words Prabhupada had written, the conclusion is that a devotee engaged in the unalloyed service of the Lord, specifically in hearing and chanting of his transcendental glories, becomes simultaneously spiritually enlightened by the divine grace, as it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. So the conclusion is that a devotee engaged in the unalloyed service of the Lord, specifically in hearing and chanting of his transcendental glories, becomes simultaneously spiritually enlightened by the divine grace, as it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. And then comes this verse, and I said it's a very important verse, at least for it's a very important purport also. Such an elaborate purport Prabhupada has written. But I'm sure of the product that we are, product of Kali Yuga. So we have very less attention span, right? Let me ask this question directly. What did you learn from the translation? Okay. Translation. Say it again. We have to work. Okay. Words, some of the words are correct, but if is not there. If we work for the order of is not there. But okay. Okay. One constantly remembers his name, form, and quality. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's just one line, but in that one line, there are many interesting things which are mentioned. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavat chikissaya sakrat grinanti gunanamani krishnasyanus smaranti cha. Kurvana is when we are working. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavat sikshaya asakrat. Asakrat is constantly. Bhagavat sikshaya, as instructed by the Lord or as per the Lord's order. That the word-to-word meaning of that is sikshaya is by the will of. So while performing kurbana yatra karmani bhagavat sikshaya asakrat, constantly grinanti gunanamani. Grinanti is takes on. Grinanti is to chant constantly. Gunanamani, the qualities and the names of the Lord. Krishnasya anusmaranti cha. And remembers. Anusmaranti is to remember. The translation is, while performing duties according to the orders of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers him, his names, and his qualities. So it is while, it is not if, while performing. So it is not a condition. While performing duties, so everybody is doing duties, but here the important thing is according to the order of Sri Krishna. The important thing to keep in mind is while performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers him, his names and his qualities. So while doing this, one constantly remembers him, his names and his qualities. So this is the translation, and the purport has three paragraphs. And they're all so wonderfully written and very beautiful connection. Let's see that in the purport that Prabhupada has explained. The first thing that Prabhupada is writing in the purport, the first line of the purport is, an expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or the next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, etc. So the important aspect from the first line of this purport, Prabhupada is saying that a devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or the next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, etc. This is very, very important. As I said, these are all instructions which are given for the living entities who are there in this material world, right? Now, there are two things which we don't have. Neither we are devotee nor we are expert. But Prabhupada is writing, an expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life. Mold is to do certain changes or to make certain things in our life. Otherwise, our life always is filled with excuses. I've got this thing to do. I've got that thing to do. I've got no time. I've got no this thing. We have always justifications, as if, you know, I will get, you know, some other time exclusively for practicing devotional life. No, a devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or the next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities, etc. Once Prabhupada, when he was seated with his disciples, there was Nanda Kumar, Brahmananda Prabhu, Kamal Krishna. Prabhupada asked, what is the secret of Krishna consciousness? What is the secret of Krishna consciousness? What is the answer, Mukund? Give it a try. Remember Krishna? Remember Krishna? That's all? Which one? Prabhupada's answer was, arrange your day in such a way that you can never forget Krishna for even a moment. So close. Arrange your day in such a way that you can never forget Krishna for even a moment. So who has to arrange? We have to arrange. If you are, can you go on mute? Mukund, you are not on mute. One of you. Arrange your day in such a way that you can never forget Krishna for even a moment. So who has to arrange? We have to arrange. We have to arrange our activities in such a way that we always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Now, this is why this is so important. Let's analyze that. Of course, the first thing is that we have to learn this technique which Prabhupada is saying. This is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Everybody wants to become Krishna conscious, wants to purify himself, but the secret lies in arranging your day in such a way that you can never forget Krishna for even a moment. Rupa Goswami mentions about this verse which you are saying, Smartavyaha satatam Vishnu, Vismartavyam na jatuchit, Sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayar evo kinkarha. Or ISKCON Bangalore Prasadam packet, Khaja packet. What is written there? They give Khaja, what is written in that? You're laughing at him, but you don't know the question. The Khaja packet, what is written in that? Sure. Always remember Krishna. Never forget. Yes, Srinivas, right. So, Smartavyaha satatam Vishnur Vismartavyam na jatuchit. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. This is Sarve Vidhi Nisedhayas Shur Etayar Evo Kinkara. We are doing so many things, so many do's and so many don'ts are there. We get up early in the morning, we attend Mangalarati, we are doing Guru Puja, we are reading Bhagavatam, we are chanting Hare Krishna. Like that, there are so many do's and there are so many don'ts. There are 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. But all these do's and don'ts, vidhi and nisheda, sure etayar eva kinkara. It is meant to ensure that we are remembering Krishna always and not forgetting him. Smartavyaha satatam Vishnur Vismartavyam na jatuchit. Sarve vidhi nishedha sure etayar eva kinkara. If this is not happening, what is the point doing all this? All are mechanical. The purpose of doing all these things is to ensure that we are remembering Krishna all the time. Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be the servants of these 2 principles. I don't know if you remember this incident, but when the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, who were they? Jai Vijay, were cursed by, when they were cursed by 4 Kumaras, there's something very interesting happened. Of course, at that moment where they didn't allow them to enter inside the door, they got agitated and they cursed him. They cursed both of them. But after the curse was given by the 4 Kumaras, these 2 doorkeepers who are servants of the Lord realized their mistake. And they bowed down to them, saying that we accept this because of the mistake that we have done. The punishment that you're giving is justified. But we just have one request. We have just one request, that we are now getting this curse to take birth in this material world. We don't want to be in the state of forgetfulness of Krishna. The purport of that is not 3:15:36. In the purport, Prabhupada writes the first line: to a devotee, any heavy punishment is tolerable, but the one which affects forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord is not. So basically, the material world is so designed, it is designed to make us forgetful of Krishna. It is designed in that way. Spiritual world, it is designed in such a way that we can never forget Krishna. Whereas material world is exactly opposite. If it is left to us, to our mind's proclivities and desires and the thoughts, then it is meant to make us forget Krishna. That is why their prayer was to a devotee, any heavy punishment is tolerable, but the one which affects forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. So, see, this is so important because the material world is a place of forgetfulness of Krishna, and that is why we are trying so many ways to enjoy being ignorant of our position, being ignorant of who Krishna is, and elongating our existence in this material world. Even Prahlad Maharaj, when he was asked for this benediction by Narasimhadev, asked for any benediction, he didn't ask that, you give me a lot of opulence or power or money or anything of those sort. He said, I just want, oh Lord, if you really want to give me a benediction, all this material inebrities, those material afflictions which I have in my heart, they should get cleansed. And I should be able to remember you always. For a devotee, hell or heaven doesn't matter as long as he's able to engage in devotional service and remember the Lord. Right. So the first point which Prabhupada is trying to say, an expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, fame, qualities. Now, the important thing which I asked you in the translation is the order of the Lord. So what is the order of the Lord?
While performing our duties,
What is that?
While performing our duties, we have to remember the Lord.
While performing your duties, you have to remember the Lord. So what is the order? What is the order of the Lord? You are saying something. What is that? What is the order of the Lord? See how? Yeah, okay. Second chance. Okay. To preach the message of the Lord. It's all there, but not the right answer. None of you get the right. Okay, Bhagavad Tattva Prabhu, you want to try? You try.
Perform the work as a sacrifice to the Lord.
Perform the work as sacrifice. No, it's actually the answer as per the purport. I'm not going anywhere else, as given in the purport. If you see, read the line, the order of the Lord is distinctly there in the Bhagavad Gita. One should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. One should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. In every sphere of life, the Lord should be situated as the proprietor. Actually, devotional life doesn't mean that the time that I'm coming and spending in temple, that time I am God conscious or I am doing something for the Lord. After that, I have my own life. No. The order of the Lord is distinctly there in the Bhagavad Gita. And what is the order? One should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life, which includes your whatever that material world or work that you're doing, duties, I have responsibilities, whatever you have defined, other than so-called our coming to temple or doing something for the temple. Or one should work only for the Lord in all spheres of life. Right? And why should one do that? Prabhupada says that he says that according to the Vedic rites, even in the worship of some demigods like Indra, Brahma, Saraswati, Ganesha, the system is that all circumstances, the representation of Vishnu must be there as the Yagneshwara. or the controlling power of such sacrifices. He goes on to explain a very important verse of Bhagavad Gita, which we have recently read. It says, what is the verse? What is the peace formula?
Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshanam.
So, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. Actually, this is one sentence which Prabhupada uses in the purport, where he says, this creation is mine. I am the creator of this creation. So hence, everything that you are seeing is coming from me. So what you should do, I'm the recipient of all the activities, all the austerities, whatever you are doing, the beneficiary is me. And Prabhupada goes on to the extent, even if you are worshipping a demigod, it will only be proper if the Yajneshwar or Vishnu is present there, and he is, what is exact? That in all circumstances, the representation of Vishnu must be there as the Yajneshwar or the controlling power of such sacrifices. It is recommended that a particular demigod is worshipped for a particular purpose, but still, the presence of Vishnu is compulsory in order to make the function proper. Including an indirect worship of demigods, that worship also will become perfect or proper if the performance, whatever you have done, is given to Yajneshwar or Vishnu. So I am the proprietor, I am the controller, I am the recipient of all the sacrifices and austerities. Hence, what one should do? He should only engage in devotional service to the Lord in all spheres of life. Prabhupada goes on to say in the next paragraph, apart from such Vedic duties, so forget about the Vedic duties, which you may think that, okay, I'm going and worshipping in a temple to some demigods. But apart from such Vedic duties, even in our ordinary dealings, for example, in our household affairs, or in our business or profession, we must consider that the result of all activities must be given over to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Krishna. The results of all activities must be given over to the Supreme Enjoyer. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has declared himself to be the Supreme Enjoyer of everything, the Supreme Proprietor of every planet, and the Supreme Friend of all beings. Now, if somebody is still not clear, what does this mean to give the result of all activities to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Shri Krishna? Prabhupada has not left it to speculation and think on our own. 2 times in this purport he is mentioning, the major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. Right? We must consider that the result of all activities must be given over to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Krishna. Why it should be given to Krishna? Why not, we enjoy that? The more we have that tendency, that is exactly the reason why we are here in this material world. We don't want to be subordinate. We have envy towards the Lord, and we want to use the hard-earned money for our own sense gratification. Here it is, Prabhupada. Major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. And he's going on to talk about this. This is only meant to free us. It is meant to, remove us from this entanglement of material world. So for that, I need to understand I'm not this body. I'm spirit, soul, part and parcel of the Lord. And this Lord is the creator, maintainer, and the proprietor of this entire creation. So my duty is to serve. My duty is to serve. And if I'm in a grihastha position, the only way I can serve is by this. And what else? Actually, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, it is not just giving your 50% income. He also is telling we should not only give the profit of our earning to the cause, but we must also arrange to preach this cult of devotion to others, because that is also one of the orders of the Lord. So just giving your 50% is not enough, but that is the minimum. But if you are giving 50%, that also is not enough. But you should also endeavor to preach this cult of devotion to others. That is also important. 2 things are required for a grihastha life. If we really, so what is the order of the Lord? We saw the order of the Lord. To be Krishna conscious in all spheres of our life. Then in household life, how should we do that? Prabhupada is writing that one should not be attached. So in our household affairs and in our business, we must consider that the result of all activities must be given to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Krishna. And then Prabhupada quotes that in the Bhagavad Gita, why it has to be given? Because the position of the Lord is, I am the controller, I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities. So If that is the case, so every living entity who understands his position must engage devotional service, and for householder, it is done by two ways: by engaging the monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of the Lord Krishna. We should not only give the profit of our earning to this cause, but we must also arrange to preach this cult of devotion to others. Now, this is very direct preaching. Actually, there is no compromise in this kind of a preaching. Very interestingly, before we proceed to the third paragraph, there are some important points in that. There is a letter which Prabhupada had written to one of his disciples by name Karnadhar in 1973. I just read this. The letter in that Prabhupada is saying, when my Guru Maharaj was present, even big scholars were afraid to talk with his beginning students. My Guru Maharaj was called living encyclopedia. It's referring to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He could talk with anyone on any subject. He was so learned, so we should be like that as far as possible. No compromise. Ramakrishna, avatars, yogis, everyone was enemy to Guru Maharaj. He never compromised. Some God brothers complained that this preaching was chopping technique. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's preaching was called chopping technique. Chop off. Whatever arguments this thing you have is because this devotee, it's not one's position. The position of a sadhu is meant to attachments to material world and the false understandings that one has. So no compromise. Ramakrishna, avatars, yogis, everyone was enemy to Guru Maharaj. He never compromised. Some God brothers complained that this preaching was chopping technique and it would not be successful. But we have seen that those who criticized, they fell down. For my part, I have taken up the policy of my Guru Maharaj. No compromise. All these so-called scholars, scientists, philosophers who do not accept Krishna more than rascals, fools, lowest of mankind, etc. Where is it mentioned? Bhagavad Gita, very good. Bhagavad Gita, where?
Jananti Mudha.
Namam Duskritino Naradhama. Then Maya Aparata Jnanam Asuram Bhavam Ashrit. So it's not that Prabhupada had some fun or some sadistic pleasure in telling scientists and philosophers as fools or rascals. It's not like that. It is directly from Bhagavad Gita. All these so-called scholars, scientists, and philosophers who do not accept Krishna are nothing more than rascals or fools of lowest mankind. Namam Duskritino Mudha. Where else it is mentioned? Mudha. Avajananti Mam Mudha Manusim Tanumashrita. Parambhav. Yes, 9.11. Avajananti Mam Mudha Manusim Tanumashrita. Actually, people don't understand who Krishna is. They think some ordinary person and they have no understanding. There is a verse in Bhagavatam. I can get that verse. That is there. There's a beautiful, even better. It's not better. It's unfortunate. It's a beautiful verse in Bhagavatam which talks about the position of Krishna. So it is Sutta Uvacha. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutas Tunvanti Divyastavair Vedai Sangapada Karmopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tatgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yashyantam Naviduh Surasura Gana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Tunvanti Divyastavair. That position of the Lord is so exalted that whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta. So Yam Brahma, Varunendra, Rudra, Maruta, Stunvanti, Divya Staver, with their glorious transcendental glorifications. Divya Staver, Stava is prayers. With transcendental prayers, they are worshipping whom? Yam Brahma, Varunendra, Rudra, Maruta, Stunvanti, Divya Staver, Vedai Sanga Pada Karmopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samagaha. Samagaha is referring to the singers of the Samavedas. The singers of the Samavedas, they have a very beautiful meter, and in that beautiful meter, they are constantly glorifying. Vedehi Sanga Pada Karmopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samagaha. Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina. The yogis are trying hard to meditate in the super soul aspect of the Lord. Very, very severe austerities. Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina. Yashyandam na vidu sura gana devaya tasmai namah. Even after that, the sura gana, sura and asura, they can't know me. Yasyantam na vidu sura gana devyaya tasmai namah. So Suta Goswami is telling, unto that personality whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra and Maruta praise by chanting transcendental hymns, reciting the Vedas with all their control, with all their corollaries, Pada Karmas and Upanishads, to whom the chanters of the Samaveda always sing, whom the perfected yogis see within their minds after fixing themselves in trance and becoming fully absorbed in thoughts of him, and whose limit can never be found by any demigod or demon, unto that supreme personality of Godhead I offer my humble obeisances. So that is the Supreme Lord, and unfortunately people don't know. All the scientists and philosophers, they concoct and they bring some of their own understanding, and that is why this verse, these are all practically given by Prabhupada. Very directly Prabhupada is telling what needs to be done and how it has to be done. So the two important things which Prabhupada has mentioned here is not just for the grace, that's not just giving 50%, but also preaching, trying to preach this message of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that, and Prabhupada quotes that verse, Yaidam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam eveshyati asamshay. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. This comes immediately after Sarva Dharma and Parityaja, like the most confidential knowledge once it is told by Krishna. Which verse is that? Get up. Which verse is that? This is 18.66, Sarva Dharma and Parityaja. So after that, immediately after having spoken that, Krishna says, one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to. What is the interesting thing in this? I'll read one more time. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to. Anything is there in this which is worth paying attention? Yes, Madhav. If you please devotees is not there in this. If you preach, if you preach whom? Okay. So I'll read one more time translation here. That's why hearing is so important. Hearing nahi hoga to. For me who for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Okay. What is the main thing in this? Anything that is striking to you? So Prabhupada's instruction, as we are seeing in the purport, is telling that one has to engage 50% in preaching this cult. Also, he has to engage in the preaching, right? The major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. We should not only give the profit of our earning to the cause, but we must also arrange to preach this kind of devotion to others, because that is also one of the orders of the Lord, right? Okay, you are very close. So yeah, so the point that I wanted you to remember or keep in mind is Krishna is telling for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees. Now, where are the devotees in material world? And before that, he has told that the confidential knowledge may not be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, not to one who is envious of me. Is there anybody in the material world who's not envious of Krishna, who's devoted, who's austere, who's waiting? They're all sadhus. You go and tell them Bhagavad Gita, Krishna consciousness, and they'll jump. How many such people you'll find? Not zero, right? So idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha surasane vachyam na cha mam yo abhyasuyati. So then what should be done? Prabhupada is telling give 50% and preach this cult to everyone. At the same time, he is telling that it should be preached to only devotees, right? And he becomes dear. Then what is the solution? Actually, if you see the purport, it is very beautifully given. So the Lord definitely says that no one is more dear to him than one who is always engaged in the preaching work of the Lord's name, fame all over the world. The scientific discoveries of the material world, not. Okay. The scientific discoveries of the material world can also be equally engaged in carrying out his order. He wants the message of the Bhagavad Gita to be preached amongst his devotees, which we established. The mission of the Lord is, he wants the message of the Bhagavad Gita to be preached amongst his devotees. It may not be so done amongst those who have no credit of austerities, charity, education, etc. That also we saw. Na tapaskaya, that verse we saw. So then, therefore, the Prabhupada's next, this is the beauty. Therefore, the attempt must go on to convert unwilling men to become his devotees. The preaching of his confidential knowledge can be shared with devotees. And he is telling, don't preach to those people who have no austerities, education, and charity. Don't preach to them. So then what should be done? First, you convert the unwilling men to devotees. This is then you can share the confidential knowledge with the devotee, and then you can become dear to the Lord. So therefore, the attempt must go on to convert unwilling men to become his devotees. And how do you do that? And Prabhupada also answers. Lord Chaitanya has taught a very simple method in this connection. He has taught the lesson for preaching the transcendental message through singing, dancing, and refreshment. Prabhupada, right? He says anywhere where there is singing and dancing and refreshment, people will come. As such, 50% of our income may be spent for this purpose in this fallen age of quarrel and dissension. If only the leading and wealthy persons of society agree to spend 50% of their income in the service of the Lord, as it is taught by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is absolute certainty of converting this hell of pandemonium to the transcendental abode of the Lord. No one will disagree to partake in a function where good singing, dancing, and refreshment are administered. This is the formula which Prabhupada took it and made it so successful. The movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, during his manifested pastimes, when he was present in this material world, he was not sharing the confidential pastimes with everyone. It was only with a very few chosen confidential devotees. But for rest, it is all chanting, singing, and refreshment, prasad. The example of this, classic example of this was when Prabhupada had instructed his disciples to do this program in Bombay, the Pandal program, Cross Maidan program. Right? So, who was in charge of the marketing? Ramchandra Prabhu was in charge of marketing, and Prabhupada had given different responsibilities to different Western disciples because he knew that these Western disciples have got that ingenuity that they can make things happen, but they lack the direction. So Prabhupada's vision was, if there is a spiritual vision which is given in the form of this philosophy of Krishna consciousness and this tendency, that's why any modern scientific discoveries can be used for preaching the order of the Lord. That's what Prabhupada writes. The scientific discoveries of the material world can also be equally engaged in carrying out his order. So as this is given in that in Leelamrita, where it is mentioned that Prabhupada had this vision that this entire city of Bombay should be flooded with Krishna consciousness. It was an 11 days program. Every single day, 20,000 people, 20 to 30,000 people used to come. And there were a nice preparation of food. And so Shyam Sundar Prabhu was in charge of the marketing. So he had some small posters made. The Prabhupada is sitting on one pillow, and the title was the Bhakti Cult, the worldwide what is it? Uh, the the worldwide Bhakti cult comes to India, something like that. Here Bhagavatam from Srila Prabhupada. Like that, he had made some very interesting posters, and they were all over the city. And towards the end, wherever those big important places in Bombay, like Victoria Terminus and other places, they had huge banners, and it just used to say Hare Krishna. Because by that time people had already registered in their mind that there is a program which is going to happen in that cross Maidan. And the first lecture, Prabhupada had given series of lecture in that. The first lecture that Prabhupada gave, the title of that is Material Civilization is of No Good. Only Krishna consciousness can save you, to all those people. And of course, and there was a marriage ceremony which also got performed in that cross Maidan to attract people to this Vedic culture, to give this message what Krishna wanted to share. And in fact, there is early days of Prabhupada, if you see, there was one devotee in the 22nd Avenue. His name was Ranchor. He had nice hair, and also he was one of the early hippies who used to come regularly, and he was very loyal to Prabhupada. So one day his parents had come to meet Prabhupada, and so his parents had come with another few of his friends and relatives and so on and so forth. They came and they met Prabhupada. So before meeting Prabhupada, they were talking to his son and saying, "Why are you here? Why are you leading such an austere life and a difficult life? Come, we will give you a nice car. We will give you all lot of good women and other things that you are looking for. Why you have to be here in this kind of a life?" Ranchor was very, at least at those days, he was very obedient. Later on, he left because that's a different thing. But he was there, and after this, parents and the relatives of Ranchor left. Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was asked, so what should we do with people like this who don't understand? Then there is this famous one saying in English, which Prabhupada keeps repeating. It is folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. It's folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. When most of the people are in ignorant state, they really don't know what is the real benefit of Krishna consciousness, how they can transform their lives by practically doing the simple things. It is folly to be wise. They'll not understand. They will rather get angry at you. But of course, when then the devotees ask, then what should be done? So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has inaugurated this Yuga Dharma, if we just go out even on street and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because philosophy will come much later. First, if they hear holy name, then it will purify them. If after that somebody gets interested in knowing why are you chanting Hare Krishna, then we have all these literatures. But these literatures also do not attract everyone to penetrate the hard, dull heart. It requires a lot of austerities, a lot of penance. Then okay, no, don't worry. If that doesn't penetrate, we have nice prasadam. And eat, nobody will question, why are you giving me so nice food, tasty? Everybody will take. Just by taking prasadam, the existence becomes purified. By chanting the names of the Lord, by hearing the names of the Lord, our existence becomes purified. And then one can come, then you can share this confidential knowledge once one has become a devotee. That is the formula which Prabhupada is giving. One last thing before we conclude the class for today. Of course, this is so practical. As I said, there are many tricks, many small things which are there, which we don't pay attention to. Like what is the order of the Lord? Then how do we engage this in our practical day-to-day life? And what does it mean to give up the attachment to your day-to-day activities? And that is also very nicely given here in the book. The one last thing before we conclude is that when we are engaging in devotional service, and as Prabhupada is telling that it is folly to be wise. Folly means it's futile, right? The word folly, what does it mean, Prabhupada? Mistaken. It's mistaken to be wise, right? It's folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss. Now we may say like that, and we may think, okay, it's nobody, no taker for Krishna consciousness, and it's folly to be wise. What can I do? I just tried. Here lies the trick. Here lies the clue of how do we conduct ourselves. If we really, so the unwilling man has to be converted. That is what is the mission of the Lord. He wants his message on the Bhagavad Gita to be preached amongst his devotees. It may not be so done amongst those who have no credit of austerity discipline is given. And then he's telling, therefore, the attempt must go on to convert unwilling men to become his devotees. I don't know if I've said this, but there is this formula which you can remember. It's called ABCDEF. ABCD, you know? Have you heard of ABCD? What is it? No, that I don't want to ask. There is one ABCD that ISKCON association and book reading, chanting. D is diet, prasadam. S is seva. But this ABCDEF is different. First, you have the satisfaction of having answered, but this is different. So, the first A that is required for us as practitioners of Krishna consciousness is absorption. You see, if our whole life, if we have to, it's not a one-day project, it's not a 1 month project or 1 year project, right? It's a lifelong project. Right? I have to be engaged in Krishna's service. Now, to do that, the first and the most important fundamental thing is how much I'm absorbed in Krishna. See, the beginning Prabhupada is writing that you have to constantly remember the Lord's name, pain, qualities, etc. Right? An expert devotee of the Lord can mold his life in such a way that while performing all kinds of duties, either for this or next life, he can constantly remember the Lord's name, pain, qualities, etc. It is only possible if we are absorbed in Krishna. That absorption in Krishna prevents us from all kinds of challenges. It protects us. Sorry. It protects us from all kinds of allurements and the challenges and the reversals and difficulties. If we are not absorbed in this, a small this thing, a stinka, just a little, this thing can shake us, can make our life very, very difficult. And our faith, our practices, everything can go topsy-turvy. So the more we are absorbed as a spiritual sadhaka, if we are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, that gives us the nourishment. If we are not absorbed, if we are doing all kinds of other things, and there is no absorption just for the sake of I'm doing some services because I like it or some ulterior motive, it will not be sustainable. The second thing is B. B stands for, what is that? No, sorry. Boy. B stands for belief. Beliefs is something which need to cultivate. It's a culture of knowledge. There are two kinds of beliefs one can have. One is a Sastrik Shraddha, and the other one is called Laukik Shraddha. Just because some people are coming, things are going on the way I want in my life, I come and follow Krishna consciousness. But then when some things go a little here and there, my beliefs are questioned. So there is a saying in Christianity, which I heard recently, when actually somebody challenges, at that time, in those low phases of life, we believe our doubts and we doubt our beliefs. We believe our doubts and we doubt our beliefs. So all of us have doubts, various doubts, which we carry because we don't have faith. Devotees of the Lord, pure devotees, they have nothing but Krishna consciousness in their heart, nothing else. But all of us, we have material absorptions, material tendencies, doubts, and Krishna consciousness. So in those low phases of life, we believe our doubts and we doubt our beliefs. So belief, which is based on Sastra, Sastrik Shraddha, strong determination, strong faith, belief that this is the way I can regulate my life. This is the way, these are the ways, these are the methods which are given by the Supreme Lord himself, by the devotees, by the acharyas, let me just follow. If the scriptures are telling this is what has to be done, let me do it. So first is A stands for Madhav. A. Mukund. He knows the answer. He's looking at me. I'll not ask him. Absorption. Okay. B stands for? Okay. C stands for? Not told. C stands for cooperation. Actually, Krishna consciousness cannot be practiced in seclusion. One cannot go to a, I've learned, I've understood this philosophy, and now I'll go on my own in some place, I'll do. It cannot happen. It has to be practiced in association of devotees. The other day I was telling this verse from Akrura, where he was telling, Kriyamanaha Kala Nadya Kvachit Tarati Kashchan. Kriyamanaha Kala Nadya, in this river of time, which is dragging us down, Kriyamana, forcefully it is dragging us. Kvachit Tarati Kashchan. One person gets saved by reaching the shore, and the shore is association of devotees. One person, Kvachit Tarati Kashchan. It's very difficult. You need that association of devotees. But in association of devotees, the most important thing is to cooperate. There, if you want to be controller, if your false ego says, well, this is the way it has to be done or not, then very soon, sooner than later, you'll be out of devotional life. Because there is no position, there is no place for false ego in that kind of a thing. It's a mood of cooperating, coming together, keeping Krishna in center, and engaging in devotional service to please our spiritual master and Krishna. So C stands for? D stands for? D stands for D has to be determination. Otherwise, devotional life without determination actually doesn't. There is no devotional life. Determination, even though there is association of devotees where we can get inspiration, where we can solidify our faith, where we can learn, where we can progress, still it is an individual journey. I still have to be determined to take care of my spiritual life. Nobody can come and save it. Nobody can do it for me. If I don't do, okay, I hear everything, but when I go back, okay, they're all doing, I'm seeing they're doing, I'm happy. No. I have to take care of my life, and Prabhupada gives that example of, the flight, you're the pilot and you're the only person who's driving that flight. You can look at the other person who's driving his flight, but he can't do anything to it. Whatever practices that you need to do it now. All the helps, all the guidance, everything is available. But once you start flying in the sky, you have to take care of your own flight. So that final journey, each one of us, we have to travel alone. So I have to be determined to follow all this sadhana. I have to be determined to follow the regulative principle, all the do's and don'ts. I have to ensure I have to do. Today morning we were reading a quote where one devotee was asking Prabhupada, Sudama, is chanting of Hare Krishna enough, or book reading is also required? Prabhupada is saying, what do you think? Why am I writing all these books? For whom have I written? Is it meant for selling and getting money? You must read my books. So that determination has to come. If the determination is not there, chanting kar liya, bahut ho gaya, 16 mala pag diya. 16 mala bhi to log ko 16 mala wo pahunchte hi aadmi ka ho jata hai, life chala jata hai. But anyways, determination is a very important thing. Ye shanto antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridha brata. E stands for empathy for the soul. Huh? I didn't tell. Okay, that's every time you can repeat the same thing. Okay, E stands for endless enthusiasm. Not just enthusiasm, endless enthusiasm. Actually, in this Kali Yuga, as Prabhupada is writing here, unwilling men are filled. 99%, where ignorance is bliss, they're all in some kind of a life which, because of lack of understanding, in complete ignorance they're living. But if we become, if we lack enthusiasm, if we become discouraged, then it is an impediment for our own spiritual life. Endless enthusiasm. That's why Utsaha is the first thing which Rupa Goswami mentions in Nectar of Instruction. Enthusiasm, and not just enthusiasm. Let there be failure, let there be no taker, let there be no person who's being able to take up to Krishna consciousness, doesn't matter. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even Prabhupada in the preface of Bhagavad Gita, he says, even if one person comes out of the clutches of Maya, I would consider this to be a success. So we have to go on with this endless enthusiasm. F. Okay. Okay. Good one. Following the footsteps is very close to what I wanted to say. It's actually being flexible. Flexibility is a very important. Actually, Prabhupada in one of the conversation, or is in the one of the letters, he says flexibility is actually the sign of spiritual maturity. It's basically adaptability. What I've been asked to do, how quickly I'm able to adapt. People who are very rigid, they don't want to change. There is just, this is how I am. There's no Krishna consciousness. There's no scope for improvement. Bas main itna hi kar sakta hu. That's all. So you have already drawn your boundaries. Who can do what? So there is nothing that can happen. But if we remember this and we go on practicing, then we will definitely become recipient of mercy of Nitai Gauranga. Will become recipient of mercy of Srila Prabhupada. That will not only do good to us, it will do good to the whole society. I'll stop here and see if you have any questions. What is E? Now don't look. Looking, then it's. What is B? What is C? What is A? What is D? Okay. Can you say ABCDF fully? Wow. Okay. Okay. If no other questions. If there is a question. No. So the first line is he is told clearly, order of the Lord, and it is to be in all spheres of life, and you have to give up the results of your activities. And how do you give up your results of activity? A major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. This is the first statement. Then he talks about that wealthy. As such, 50% of our income may be spent for this purpose. One more time. In this fallen age of quarrel and dissension, if only the leading wealthy persons of society agree to spend 50% of their income in the service of the Lord, as it is taught by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is absolute certainty of converting this elder. So he's telling if only they do, there is a chance. But for all of us, it's unequivocal way it is told, do this. Practically, actually, all other things that they have to do is difficult, but this is the simplest. Giving money is the easiest of the things, but the strongest of attachments. To keep it for myself, but actually by giving, we only become beneficiary. We only become the recipient of Krishna's mercy. Any question? Yeah. Mm-hmm. 28,000. 28,000. So question is, if 50% is saying average salary is 56,000, and if one gives 28,000, including tax or with excluding tax, so you'll become poor. Yeah. So yeah. So question is, if somebody does or donates, then will he become poor? The answer is no. The definition of poverty as per scriptures is lack of Krishna consciousness. The money that we have is enough to take care of our needs. And when you donate or when you do this, Krishna gives you an unlimited grace. How will Krishna give? Don't worry, it will happen. That is where the Shraddha, it's where the faith comes. And if you are becoming Krishna conscious by doing that, you are not poor. Actually, the poverty is not someone who doesn't have money, or a rich man is not someone who has got money. It's not like that. A person is considered to be poor, whether he's rich or poor by material calculations or definitions. If he doesn't have Krishna consciousness, he's poor. Because this is the real wealth. This is the real asset. Sridhar Kolavecha Sridhar. Okay, there is one devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita that is mentioned. He used to make those donas with some leaf. 1 rupee he used to earn. Out of that, 50 paisa he used to give to Krishna. So how he was living? Of course, he had some tattered clothes, not as opulently as we are dressing, but he was Krishna conscious. He was experiencing the transcendental bliss with him. That's the real asset.
Happens is that a lot of commitments for spending the money. Therefore, we are unable to fund the money. Already done certain things.
See, these are not our saying. These are all things which it has been given by Rupa Goswami, and Prabhupada is putting it. Right. So if we have that faith on the words of spiritual master, the pure devotees of the Lord, they know how to mold our activities in Krishna consciousness, because that's the first line of the purport. An expert devotee knows how to mold his activities so that throughout the day he's able to remember the names and pastimes of it. So if you have to become expert to mold your activities, Prabhupada has removed and given it. You put it in your mouth. Okay, do this, you'll automatically become. Do your 50% thing and help preach. Do that also, both the things. Then you can never become, that's how you can mold your life. Other questions? We'll stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.